هم میهنان عزیزم، همان گونه‌ای که در کنفرانس مطبوعاتی اخیر در پاریس اعلام کردم،
We stand at a crossroads. One road leads to bloodshed and chaos. هم میهنان عزیزم، بسیاری از شما در پاسخ به پیامی
There's a man whose name keeps surfacing whenever people talk about Iran's possible future. But behind the politics and activism, there's another story of old royalty, inherited prestige, and quiet wealth. Reza Pahlavi, Iran's crown prince, lives a life shaped by power, exile, and billions. And while the throne is long gone, the luxury, that never left. The prince in exile. Reza Pahlavi was born into royalty on October 31st, 1960, in the opulent world of Iran's monarchy. He was just 18 when the Iranian Revolution erupted and swept away everything his family had built. His father, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the last Shah of Iran, had ruled for nearly 4 decades. And with that fall, Reza, the crown prince, went from heir to exile almost overnight. But exile didn't strip him of his wealth. From their base in the United States, the Pahlavi family maintained access to vast assets accumulated over decades of royal rule. Even after fleeing Iran, they continued to live with the comforts that only billion-dollar fortunes can provide. At the center of it all, Reza Pahlavi became both the symbolic figure of a lost empire and the quiet holder of extraordinary personal wealth, inherited billions and global property. Much of Reza Pahlavi's financial foundation comes from what his father left behind. At the time of Mohammad Reza Shah's death in 1980, his personal fortune was estimated at around $2 billion. Today, that would be more than $7 billion. And it wasn't just liquid assets. The Pahlavi wealth was deeply tied to real estate, foreign bank accounts, and stakes in global companies. A large portion of this wealth came through the Pahlavi Foundation, a so-called charitable organization that operated more like a royal investment fund. It controlled major stakes in banks, insurance companies, steel manufacturing, hotel chains, and even the domestic operations of companies like General Motors in Iran. Reza inherited not only titles and status, but access to these deeply rooted, well-hidden financial pipelines. That wealth ensured he could base himself in luxury homes across the United States, including a lavish estate in Great Falls, Virginia, not far from Washington, D.C., the Great Falls lifestyle. His home in Great Falls offered more than just privacy. This area, one of the wealthiest zip codes in the United States, is known for secluded mansions, vast land parcels, and a mix of quiet influence and heavy security. It also happens to be close to the CIA's headquarters at Langley A location that raised more than a few eyebrows given Pahlavi's alleged connections in the 1980s. In his younger years, Reza Pahlavi was reportedly receiving support from the CIA. In 1986, Bob Woodward wrote that the agency funded broadcasts of Pahlavi's speeches back into Iran, including one where he famously declared, "I will return." That speech aired through a pirated feed into Iranian television. While the CIA has never confirmed those ties, multiple sources say he received financial backing in the early years of exile support that stopped after the Iran-Contra scandal. But even after those funds ended, Reza Pahlavi didn't exactly fall on hard times. Luxury without office. Unlike other royal exiles who faded into obscurity, Pahlavi built a different kind of presence, one not based in politics, but in quiet legacy, one that continues to live in the folds of luxury. By his own admission, in a 2009 interview, he denied receiving financial aid from any government and claimed he was supported by compatriots, wealthy Iranian expatriates, and friends of the dynasty. In 2017, he confirmed to the Associated Press that he had no side occupation and lived entirely off family wealth and donor support. In his youth, he lived a lifestyle that matched his elite background. From dating models in Europe to being seen at discotheques in Cairo, Reza didn't shy away from the privileges that came with his name. In the early 1980s, he frequented the elite Guaziro club in Egypt, watching tennis and enjoying the company of Cairo's high society. And later, he embraced American comfort, settling into a quieter but still extremely affluent life in suburban Virginia. Family, titles, and ceremony. Reza married Yasmin Etemad-Amini in 1986 in Greenwich, Connecticut. He was 25, she was 17. The wedding brought together two influential Iranian families and created a modern royal household in exile. They have three daughters, Noor, Ayman, and Farah, each bearing titles but raised in the heart of the American elite. Princess Noor, their eldest daughter born in 1992, carries the title of Her Imperial Highness. In 2004, Reza Pahlavi was even named the unofficial godfather of Princess Louise of Belgium, strengthening his ties with European royalty. Faith and cultural roots. Despite living abroad, Pahlavi never forgot his cultural roots. Raised as a Shia Muslim, he once said he remains a man of faith, educated and convinced in his religion, but his worldview has also expanded. In April 2024, Reza and Princess Yasmin visited the Bandara Atash Kadeh Zoroastrian temple in Houston, Texas. There, they joined the Yasna ceremony, a ritual that connects deeply with Iran's pre-Islamic past. Reza said that Zoroastrianism is intertwined with Iranian history and civilization, and highlighted its continuing influence among young Iranians. Controversy, courtrooms and challenges. Wealth and status don't come without problems. Reza Pahlavi has been pulled into more than one legal storm over the years. In 1990, a former Imperial Guard bodyguard named Ali Haydar Shabazi filed a lawsuit claiming Reza broke his promise to care for him financially. He said he gave up over $400,000 in property in Iran under that assurance, only to be dismissed with a handshake and $9,000. The case was ultimately dismissed, with the judge finding that Reza had no personal control over his financial dealings. In another high-profile case, Reza went to court against his own financial advisor and close associate, Ahmad Ali Masood Ansari. Pahlavi accused Ansari of embezzling $24 million. Ansari countersued, claiming $1.7 million in unpaid debt. The court ultimately ordered Ansari to repay $7.3 million and imposed a $2 million fine. In 2014, Reza Pahlavi launched his own media network, Ufuk Iran. It was both a political and cultural platform aimed at the Iranian diaspora. By 2017, the ownership of the telethon tied to Ufuk Iran had shifted, and Reza was no longer connected to the network. But for a time, it gave him a way to shape the narrative about Iran's future from his base in the West. The lifestyle continues. Today, Reza Pahlavi is more than just a former crown prince. He's a billionaire in exile, a man whose life has stretched from golden palaces to high-security mansions in Northern Virginia. The throne may be gone, the monarchy may have ended, but the luxury, that part of the royal life, endures. From European villas to American estates, Reza Pahlavi still lives like a king even without a crown.